Welcome everybody to our show. This is Custom Fab Garage on our channel Octane TV on YouTube. Make sure you go down below and hit that subscribe button, and on top of that, make sure that you hit the notification bell so that you can get all the new content that comes out weekly and even every day. Today we're going to be doing a review on the Stinger head unit, which is the HEIGH10, the 10-inch modular multimedia display system, PNUN 1810. This is the Stinger head unit. We're going to be doing a review on this today. Everything that it comes with. This is the actual brain. Here's the screen. This is the swivel mount, or the mount that goes onto it to be able to mount this to this. And the rubber gasket. And it comes with a ton of harnesses. And each one of these does its own dedicated service and purpose on this. You get your main harness, your RCAs. I mean, there's just a ton of harnesses that this comes with. And it comes with an installation guide, which is really nice that it comes with that. There's also videos online on YouTube, just like the one you're watching. Got back strap, got all your hardware, you even got your angled metal pieces here. So this is everything that it's going to come with, and each particular piece has its own purpose, like nav antenna. All these things you will actually need. Some of them are optional, like if you're not running an amp, you won't need the RCAs or anything like that, but you will need the brain and the head unit. Those are the two most important parts. Everything else, we'll kind of show you what it'll do. Now in this particular video, we're gonna show you what this will look like with this mounted into a Jeep JL. So we won't be mounting it with this system. We'll be mounting it with a different way, the way that this plugs in, but you'll get the feel of what the actual head unit will look like and installed in here. We've done a few of these and they are a great head unit. I'd highly recommend them to anybody looking for an awesome head unit for the price. But this is what everything comes with in the actual head unit, and we will show you everything installed. Today we're going to be doing this review on the Stinger HEIGH10. We're going to be kind of talking about some of the features and all the different aspects that this actual radio has comparable to other radios like the Kenwood, the Pioneer, you know, Boss, all those different ones, including Sony. This particular radio does have Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, Sirius XM. It does have Bluetooth like almost every other radio. Your USB functions, which it does have two. You have your radio, normal things like that. It does have a backup camera, which is HD, and it does have HDMI in and AV in, which is pretty cool because a lot of the newer ones do not have the AV in or HDMI in, which is pretty nice. It has those features, but it is, in my opinion, it is definitely one of the really top tier head units, I would say. This unit has pretty much every feature you could possibly imagine just by clicking these hard buttons down here at the bottom. I really like that feature as well, that it's got your home, and then it's got your track selections, and then it's got a voice prompt with the volume button that is still, like, I love how it works very easily. It's not too big, it's not too small, it fits perfectly, especially with people like me that have big hands. So I really like the layout of how easy the menu is to get to and everything like that. When you want to click on radio, you know, it's just super easy, and you just go back to your home button and it goes right back to your buttons. There is, in my opinion, it's not something that is really difficult to use. You know, you have navigation over here when you want to use it, well, whenever you want to use it, when we're doing it, but then vehicle info over here, and it will show you the vehicle info. As if the door is open, I can close the door and it will show that the door is actually closed or open. It'll show basically two wheel. This is actually in a Jeep JL, so it shows all these functions that the actual Jeep has through the factory, you know, CAN bus system, which is actually pretty cool that it can do that. You know, you can do gauges. You can click over here and do all your gauges and everything like that. You can do your performance meters. That to me is well worth the money that you're spending on something like this, because there's not a lot of radios that can do this, which to me is a big selling point on a radio that costs this much money, because it is very expensive. It's not cheap by any means, but this by far is one of the reasons why I like the Stinger radio so much, is it integrates with a lot of the newer vehicles with its own dash kit, with like this one does, and its own wiring harness and everything. So that is one of the selling points for me on the Stinger, is just these capabilities of be able to do the gauges and be able to do the vehicle info and everything like that. One of the other cool things about this radio that I think is pretty awesome for a radio that, you know, for this price point as well, is all your climate controls that are down here, you can actually activate the climate controls through the radio. So just by going back here and going by your climate button right here, you can actually activate everything that is down here up here as well. So instead of having like a hard button, you can use it digitally and do it over here with these buttons as well, which to me, having both is awesome, especially with having this diagram and everything like that here. So to me, it's more intuitive. It works more like factory and like OEM, versus, you know, you have none of these features available on a lot of the other head units available today, because they can't run through the CAN bus. They can't run through any of those type of OES or the OEM system. They can't run through that. So this is another big selling point on the Stinger High radio, is that you can actually use this with the factory CAN bus system on certain vehicles. It's not all, but it is certain vehicles, but you do have that capability if you ever want to be able to do that. So a couple things I have learned recently by going through a lot of videos and things like that. If you click on this bottom button right here, it pulls you up to those other menus. The biggest thing that I am noticing is I can't click on my navigation. From what I'm reading, you have to purchase the SD card to put into here to be able to use the navigation fully functional by itself. No Android Auto, no Apple CarPlay. So you do have to purchase this SD card from them to be able to run the actual navigation. So since I don't have that in there, this will not work when I click on it. Like I said, your climate control and vehicle info is on this side, and then when you go back up into here, you'll have all the same menu that you had before, which is basically the full front menu whenever you click your home button right here. This does have a backup camera, so when you put it into reverse, and it is in HD, which is pretty cool, and it looks really good. I mean, especially on this large screen, you can see everything. So I would definitely say the backup camera on this is probably one of the best features of this, because all the other backup cameras we install and that we do don't have anywhere near the clarity or the, you know, at night you can see this well. So that's actually a really good feature to have on this. In my honest opinion, I would highly recommend this radio to anybody, especially for the features that it has, for everything that it does, you know, come with out of the box, and what it does do for many different vehicles that are out on the market today, especially like the Jeep Wranglers, you know, the JT for the Gladiators. This is an absolute must to have in these vehicles. I would not recommend anything but this in those vehicles, because the way that it fits and designs, there's not much room behind these dashes. So I would highly recommend this to anybody looking for a head unit that is at least a 10-inch, you know, or above. This is the head unit to go with. Now, Sony makes a great head unit. Kenwood makes a great head unit. We have done many reviews on the Kenwood, and I will say the Kenwood's clarity comparable to this, it's hard to tell on this screen. It's hard to tell on a phone anyways. The clarity is a little bit better. I will say the menu system is a little bit cleaner. The way it looks, it doesn't, if you look at these buttons, they look like something that we had 10 years ago. I mean, they're not, when you actually click, let's say you click on a button, right? Let's go up to radio. When you click on it, well, it doesn't do it that way, but if we click on a radio, like I had it on there earlier, if you click on it and you have it on Bluetooth music or whatever, it was black. I think, see how the black looks? I think the black looks a lot better than the light gray. It just makes it harder to read. It makes it look kind of older and cheesy, I guess is the word I want to use. I think if they would have done it black and then highlighted whichever one you want on gray, I think it would look much better, in my opinion. To me, it's all about the display and how it looks, and Kenwood does a great job of that. I will give Kenwood the absolute best credit on having one of the most clarity of HD style displays, and their font and everything they use is great. This is great as well, but I will say that the Kenwood is a little better, but you're going to pay the extra money for it. So that's the biggest thing, is if you want to spend the money, or you can even get one of those Kenwoods. That's the biggest problem. I think this one looks just as good, just not quite as clear, but it is a great head unit. Now, I haven't had the chance to watch a video on here yet. That's one thing I'm going to make another video on, watching, you know, actual videos on this. That is one thing I have not got to do yet. One of the cool things about the HEIGH10 and the Jeep JL is you can control the volume with the knob down here and the knob up here. You can also control the heat, and it goes through the display, which is really cool. That to me is awesome, that you can, everything down here, hard button, can also control up here with the digital part. I mean, honestly, they did a great job integrating everything from the factory into this. Still use the USB in your center console. If I had a USB, it would use that. It basically utilizes everything from the factory and incorporates it into the radio. Even if you go over here to your home button, and then you go down here and you click on the bottom button down here, and then you can go over here to your vehicle info. It tells you everything there as well. That is the biggest selling point of this radio to me. Any customer comes in and wants everything to still work factory and be able to use this and tell everything about their car, including like performance, including gauges, including drivetrain. It has all that, which to me, for the price of this radio, that is amazing.